Okay guys, so we're here at the bench. We're gonna go ahead and actually put together the far view antenna, the Pagoda antenna that I use for my quads, and I'm gonna show you how to do the version that is the mini version of the Pagoda antenna. Usually the kit comes with this big cable. I have done already 3 versions of this antenna. I have done the long version, half version, and now I'm doing the short version, which is I call the chubby. So this is the one that I'm gonna go ahead and actually show you how to do it. The first thing we need to do is put together the jig and then mount the main disc at the top, so we can go ahead and actually put the cable through it and then actually put the top of the jig and finish building the jig. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put the main disc on the jig, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually cut just a little bit of the tip on this, so I can go ahead and actually put it on the top disc and then solder it to the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So I have it there. What I'm gonna do now is put it through here, make sure it goes through the jig and that it goes into the bottom of the plate. There it goes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solder the bottom to the base and the disc. So you have to be here to the disc and to the cable, and that's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so now is where everything is gonna change from the way that you build a normal Pagoda antenna to where I build my version of the chubby antenna, which is I'm gonna disassemble the jig again. I'm gonna put all the discs together. The disc, if you can see, the most important part here is to actually match the lines. These lines needs to match the lines that are on the top disc, which right now are actually completely on the guides. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it upset when I put it the second time, so you guys can see how I'm matching the lines. This one doesn't really matter. This one is goes just in the bottom to prevent the signal to bounce down to leak down into the cable, I guess. So this one you can put it like that or upside down, it doesn't really matter. You can put it either way. So I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble this. When we put it together again, we're gonna put all the pieces. So we're gonna put the top. You see the lines? These lines, when you put this one on the bottom, that is gonna go like this. They need to match. So they need to be aligned like that. If you put them like this, then it won't work. It has to be aligned. So okay, so now that I see the lines, if this jig is really tight. Okay, there we go. So there we go, perfect alignment. Okay, so the lines are aligned, everything is good. Now we're gonna solder this one and this one, and I'm gonna solder this one from the top, not from the bottom, and you're gonna see why in a minute, because I'm gonna need the space on the bottom to put the connector as close as I can to that ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually first do that one, then I'm gonna do the top of that one, and after that we'll disassemble everything and finish the one on the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that again, the same way that we did the other one. Now what we're gonna do is very carefully we're gonna take out the jig apart. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna measure where we want the connector to go. Whatever we want the connector to go, this part here is the top of the connector. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this cable to the length that I need, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I already cut the cable and I peeled the tip of the cable so I can connect this connector. We're gonna go ahead and actually put this at the tip. The way that I do it is I use my pliers, and with my pliers I put it on the tip of the cable, and then with the soldering iron I go ahead and hit the tip of the cable where I put a little bit of solder already, a little bit of thin, and I hit it up until it fits down. It falls down into the middle of the cable. You will feel it when you do that. And then this is how it looks. You're gonna go ahead and actually have sometimes a little bit of tint coming out of the side, so you just get your iron and you fix it a little bit before you put the connection so you don't make a short. But basically this is how it looks. Then make sure that the tip is straight before you actually put the connector, and then you put the connector all the way in until you see it that is flush with the white part inside the cable. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna solder the connector to the cable. The way that I do this is I get the two parts of the jig and I put them on top of each other, and I just place the antenna there, so it's easier for me just to thin the cable there, and I just apply heat and I put a lot of thin there until it becomes kind of like liquidy, and by that time then it flows into the cable and around the cable, and you don't have to be doing much with the cable. You just grab it by the antenna, turn it around a couple of times, and by the time it's liquid you'll see that is spread out pretty good. And then what you do is just move the heat a little bit up and down to make it more liquid and more even, but basically that's it. This is how it looks. Once you finish, it's very hot, so be very careful. Leave it alone for a little bit until it cools down. Once it cools down, then you can go ahead and actually put the protector of the antenna. I do this because this is the antenna that is going to go on the quadcopter. If it was the antenna that was going to go on my goggles, then I wouldn't put the plastic cover. It's going to be very short, as you can see, and that's going to be very solid, and it's not going to bend when you have a crash or something. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my crazy glue, and there is a little bit of a edge inside the plastic cover where you can actually put your crazy glue. So I put crazy glue here, and then I put it also at the bottom where the little ring sits. So I'm gonna put it there, and then I'm gonna insert the antenna very carefully, not touching the walls or anything, and then push it down. And what I use is I use CA accelerator to actually make it dry faster. And there is holes, there is like a little gap between the antenna and the plastic, so I put some there so it falls into the edge that is there. And I turn it around and I go ahead and actually put a couple of drops of CA there. Since he already has the CA accelerator, I don't touch it with the tip of the CA bottle. With around, and then put a little more CA accelerator, and basically that's it. That's the whole antenna assemble, ready to go. Just let it dry, and then once it's completely dry, I just put it on the quad, and as you can see, it fits really good. It fits really tight. It's very small. It's really hard. It actually holds really good on a crash, and it looks awesome on the quad, as you can see it. So that was it. I hope you guys like it. Make sure that you subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave it at the bottom, and see you guys next time.